Reliance Capital is now collapsing. That stock is down 11%. Just pull out that. In fact, others also in the ADAG pack, which is seeing a decline. Reliance Power is also down. In fact, for Reliance Capital, just pull out the futures plate because I was looking at the future screen, and that's where it. I saw the 11% down rate. So a lot of perhaps discount would have opened up on Reliance Capital. Yes, 172 is the spot price. Looking at the futures price on Reliance Capital, that's 167. That's down 11%. There's a discount of about 4 rupees that you have on that. So not looking too good over there. Anyway, BDST calls Sudarshan and Mitesh with us for that. Sudarshan, you go first. Thoughts on index and your stock calls?
Well, the index is a buy with a review in the morning tomorrow. And your stops in any case are 11,300 for the Nifty. Buying is also possible in most mid-cap and large-cap stocks. So I'm suggesting buying Kotak Bank, which should be a momentum-driven play if the markets remain steady, and United Spirits, which is the symbol McDowell's. So these two stocks can be bought today for an exit tomorrow morning. For the index, always remember that your stops are 11,300.
Okay, so those are Sudarshan's trade. Mitesh, what would you go with last half hour?
Buy on PC Jewelers, PTST with a stop at 84 for targets of 90, and PCJ actually comes after a long time in the list. And buy on Petronet with a stop at 233 for targets of 245.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I can't help but talk about this, Anuj. Of course, caveats, these are trades we're talking about. These are not investment themes, so please don't get confused. Mitesh is a strict trading call on PC Jewelers. But I don't know, Anuj, I mean, does that at all raise any kind of a worry flag? Because when you're looking at today's gainers list, you do have some of these stocks which have also been moving higher. I mean, not just PCJ, but several others as well. So is there any reason to sort of, have... concern with the mid-cap rally at all?
Yesterday morning I was making a point that, consider this market right now as a bit of a party where you are invited and you're somewhere around 11:30 p.m. Now, some DJs will stop at 1 a.m., some will stop at 1:30. It depends on you, when you want to leave. Because, when you leave, trust me, the experience won't be nice. This is an ETF-driven market. The only thing is you don't want to stand against it. Just like on the way down, I don't care what anyone's view is. I don't even care what my view is. I will respect what the screen is telling me. The screen is telling me that because there's so much buying in the large caps, right now you have to be a bull. There's absolutely no way that, you can even think about shorting this market. That opportunity will come. But right now, money is making, all these kind of moves, and that will continue to happen. Yes, on the mid-cap, it will happen. On the mid-caps, you started to see curious moves. That will happen. But for now, just have to respect the screen. And if you respect the screen, the market respects you, market rewards you. That's what the market does. In the near term, that's what you have to do. In the medium term, Harish was making a very good point that, perhaps you started to take some money off the equities. That's, of course, money managers' call. And if you're a trader, your job is to look at the screen and see what the market's verdict is. The market's verdict is that dips are being bought right now.
Absolutely. And if you're a trader, you also have a responsibility to yourself to follow those stop losses. All the expert advice you're getting on trades comes with stop losses, so make sure you have them in place as well. Well, on that note, let's quickly bring you some more opinion on the fundamental side. Earlier in the day, we caught up with Nilesh Shah, MD and CEO of Envision Capital. Got his take on what he thinks of the recent market rally and the sectors that he likes.
Rallies and dips are all part and parcel of this journey. I think what has happened, the most important of all, is that I think a fortnight back, there were two concerns. One is what happens post-May, in the sense, do we get a stable, strong government, or is it going to be one more kind of a coalition? So there was some kind of concerns on the political front. And then, of course, the other concern was on the geopolitical front, that will this escalate further? Thankfully, it has not. So I clearly think that both these apprehensions have been put to rest. And then, of course, third, aspect is that globally there's been a rally. Okay, there's been a huge rally. In fact, India has been a laggard in this kind of a rally. So India is trying to kind of play some kind of a catch-up. And, of course, there have been additional tailwinds because of both the political and the geopolitical concerns being put to rest for the time being. So I clearly think that really is something which explains it. The big missing link in this entire thing is essentially earnings momentum. Barring a handful of the private sector banks and some of the consumption plays. Otherwise, earnings momentum has not yet gone into the double digit at the aggregate level. And that's something which is going to be the most important thing.
You said that the one space that interests you the most is consumer discretionary because there's increased spending in, say, homes, travel, appliances, etc. So should one go be bullish on some of these quality real estate names, quality travel companies? I mean, how does one approach it?
Yeah, clearly, I think of the three pockets, which is homes, hospitality, and consumer appliances. Consumer appliances, of course, there's been some rally in the last month or so. If you look at across the board, stocks have rallied from between 25 to 35%. But I think homes and hospitality, these two look to be relatively more resilient and robust at this point of time, especially from a price point of view. Then, of course, with some of the big benefits of RERA, etc., having come in about a couple of years back, I clearly believe that I think the outlook over the medium term for quality, affordable housing players, I think, is fantastic.
Do earnings really matter so much? I'm asking you because the fiscal math is not adding up, so definitely there's fiscal stimulus. Monetary, we are going to see more stimulus. The RBI is doing more OMOs and there are more rate cuts because, I mean, inflation is where it is. Globally, all the central banks are in dovish mode now. First, it was the Fed which converted itself. Now the ECB, the Chinese central bank is announcing stimulus. So liquidity is gushing. Do earnings matter at all this April?
So I think it does matter. Okay, why is, for example, the mid-cap index been underperforming? Because the earnings growth has even been weaker, okay, versus essentially the Nifty, and the valuations at the index level are still kind of premium. So while, of course, everybody's really been calling for a pullback and a strong rally and all of that, but the reality is that the mid-cap index is still trading at a premium to the large cap or the Nifty. I think when you're not at elevated levels, I think it's fine. Okay, investors, long-term value investors will take the leap of faith that over the next 5 years, 10 years, earnings will catch up. But otherwise, over medium term, I think it's very, very important.
Is it time to go complete high beta in portfolio, go sort of all in?
Yes, of course, the ones which are witnessing momentum in the high beta stocks which are making 52-week highs and all of that, yes, there are advances there, but they're still more measured. I think the big up move is coming in essentially things which are beaten down or which have been laggards. Okay, so when you kind of talk about a name like, say, Tata Global, for example, okay, it's been a relative laggard.
Exactly.
Okay, if you recollect, I think sometime in 2018, that was a big mover. It just went probably one way from, I don't remember exact price points, but maybe from 180 to 300 or somewhere around thereabouts. Yes. Okay, and then again it collapsed. And now when we've already had a massive momentum in the market, it's now displaying signs of strength and rebound. So that's probably happening with some of these beaten down laggard pockets.
What about autos? I mean, a lot of these auto stocks have been hit very hard. You're not convinced about investing there?
Our view is that I think the four-wheeler space, the passenger car segment, still looks stressed. Okay, we've had almost now 7 months of no growth or decline. Reality is that there is Uberization which is happening, public transport is picking up, most of our urban cities and metros will now have a metro network. Maybe in the next 3-4 years, virtually the top 15-20 cities of India will have metros. So I think there are some challenges that segment.
Absolutely flat on the indices. It's all about individual stocks this afternoon. The Nifty has completely stayed close to the flat line. One stock that's on the move as we speak, actually, is Gas Authority of India. Let's pull that up. 1% up on GAIL. Big spike coming in. And it continues to be in its recent rally as well. Again, along with the market move, GAIL has also put on almost, I think, 7-8% in the last trading sessions alone. Anuj?
I think the move started at around 329, 330. So to be, has, the expectation of price hike. I think the GAIL's is the only one which is left now. So perhaps that's why it's excited. Also because, upstream companies have all of a sudden got their mojo back. Now that, crude's inching up, there's no subsidy sharing burden. So that's become more cleaner play, the upstream play, ONGC, Oil India, GAIL. And that's why perhaps these stocks are seeing rally.
Okay, well, that's Gas Authority for you. Let's bring in a word from Abhimanyu Sofat. He is from IIFL as well. Abhimanyu, good to have you on the show. Actually, let me make that our first question. What would the view be on GAIL now that we've seen such a big rally, 10-12% on the stock in the last 1 month alone?
So we are quite positive overall on the gas sector, considering now going forward, we've seen more than 50 licenses being given for the city gas distribution, and, going forward, we believe that as the pipeline network of GAIL improves, there are also some chances of tariff enhancement also. So I think so it is a good call, a good stock to look at within the space. Another stock that looks very exciting to us within the space will be Gujarat Gas. The reason for that is, like, for example, recently we've seen that the case for the tile manufacturer in Morbi, the court has told that them to shift to now PNG. So for that reason, you could see a significant improvement in terms of volume in case of Gujarat Gas because they are the only suppliers in that area. I think some more than large part of the market is there only in that Morbi area, and more than 60% of the players are still on the traditional method. So gas sector per se from a structural angle also looks positive to us, in addition to the momentum that we are seeing in earnings over next couple of quarters.
Okay, Abhimanyu, good afternoon. Your thoughts on DLF? That's having a big run.
Well, Anuj, I think so. Clearly, real estate is one sector which is showing signs of a turnaround, and because of the change in model, also what DLF is doing, namely that earlier you had a pre-launch and then you were selling, and now they are talking about first completing the construction and then selling the house, which clearly shows that they will have a significant premium over other players in the market, and in the markets where they are present, the other smaller players are likely to struggle. Even on their leasing business also going forward, things look quite good to us. The company is clearly looking at significantly deleveraging its balance sheet. The stock has not moved that much over the last couple of years, though despite the recently we have seen the up move in the stock. So we think from current prices there is still a significant amount of upstream left in this particular stock. So we are quite positive on DLF going forward as well.
By the way, Sudarshan's call on United Spirits, the target has been hit. Nice move on the stock right now, 588. There's a 2% up move, days high on USL. We've got a couple of positive brokerage notes actually on the stock in the last few sessions, talking about good demand outlook. So Darshan, just a quick check here. Would you revise your target price higher? And this is a carryover call. This is to take home today, right?
Yeah, it's a carry trade, and tomorrow morning, for all we know, we can see a higher gap up. The stock does offer a potential to go all the way to 610. So if you want to wait for that, I think it's worthwhile.
A big move actually happening on the stock. That's quite interesting. Apart from that, this big move happening on NBCC as well. Just put out that stock as well. That for last few days, in fact, there's a bit of a buying that you're seeing on that stock. So yeah, looking quite good on that. So a couple of mid caps at least doing well right now.